Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vineland Board of Education combined meeting for August 22nd, 2018. Roll call, Mrs. Haley.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Here.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes? Mr. Jennings?
Present.
Mr. Medio?
Here.
Mr. Sobrana?
Present.
Ms. Spinelli? Mr. Ulrich?
Present.
Ms. Acosta?
Here.
Mr. Boardley?
Present. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following: announcing time and place thereof, agenda, etc., the Daily Journal, S&J Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Vista Bueno, the clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Haley, do we have a resolution for the executive session tonight?
We do not.
Dr. Gruccio, do we have any special presentations?
No, not this evening.
Approval of minutes for July 31st, 2018 special meeting. Questions or comments? Do I have a motion to accept?
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Haley.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Medio?
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana?
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Boardley?
Yes. Do we have a report by the board solicitor this evening?
None.
We now open up to public comment on agenda items. You are limited to 5 minutes per person. Mrs. Haley, do we have any yellow sheets? Does anyone have any comment on agenda items? Seeing none. Motions or resolutions? Dr. Gruccio?
Okay. I would like to recommend discussion of personnel items 1.1 through 1.3. Retirements, resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, employment, transfers, student substitutes, extracurricular activities, and extracurricular summer. Right, I'm doing one at a time. Right, okay. Okay.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
Question. On replacement hires under A, I don't know if I missed it or last meeting there was no personnel items that need to be discussed. So tonight, I'm just being made aware now, and I didn't see it earlier in the week, so I don't know when it was added to the agenda, is we're hiring a vice principal tonight. I don't believe, unless I missed something out of the mix, I don't think we've had the opportunity to discuss it, know anything about the position, or other than when I looked, I saw Tina Morris was putting her resignation in. So what's the timeline on that?
We had already conducted interviews, and we went through those same interviews. We had just completed VP interviews when we hired the last person. So we went through that same interview process. That's how we selected our candidate.
All right.
Other questions or comments? Seeing none?
Okay. Discussion regarding the salary increment withholding, which will be effective September 1st, 2018 for Wallace School Counselor.
Any questions or comments?
I recommend discussion regarding the recommendation of Program Administrator, Mrs. Joseph Camardo, to approve amended salary increase of 2.5% of the following 3 grant-funded New Jersey Youth Corps employees, which would be retroactive to July 1, 2018. Gary Brown, Stephen Medio, Sherry Wilkins.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of personnel items 1.1 through 1.3.
Do I have a motion? I'll second. Roll call, Ms. Haley.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes? Yes. Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Medio?
Yes, abstain on 1.3, number 2.
Mr. Sobrana?
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Boardley?
Yes. Congratulations, Mrs. Rivera.
Mrs. Rivera, welcome. Would you like to say anything? Please feel free.
Thank you. Good evening. Bear with me, my ankle. I would like to take this time to thank Dr. Gruccio, Mr. Fry, Mr. Francipani, Dr. Rossi for seeing the potential in me to recommend me for assistant principal of VHS. I'm truly honored and grateful for the opportunity. I would also like to thank the Board of Education for believing in me and approving the recommendation. I'm extremely grateful. I promise I will not let our school community down. While setting developmental goals for myself, I will work alongside with other assistant principals to support Mrs. DeMarchi and her goals and vision for VHS. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. I would like to recommend discussion of field trips and district travel.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
I'd like to recommend discussion to enter into a dual credit articulation agreement with Cumberland County College for the 18-19 school year.
Any questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the New Jersey Department of Ed waiver application for the Cumberland Cape Atlantic YMCA to change the family worker ratio to 1.6.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of items 2.1 through 2.3.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Haley.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Medio?
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana?
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Boardley?
Yes.
I would like to recommend discussion of special education student placements.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the submission of the following funds: ACS Hag High School Chemistry Teacher Grant for the Vineland High School South in the amount of $952, and the fiscal year 2019 Individuals with Disabilities Act application from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019, with a basic allocation of $800,146 and a preschool allocation of $92,635.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
I'd like to recommend...
Hold on, I'm sorry.
What did I
Mr.
do?
Medio?
Does special education have their own budget?
Special edu, there's certain line items that are governed by the state, and yes, they have line items that pertain to special ed, yes.
When you add all those line items together, is there a certain number that they have that's designated beforehand, and then they just meet that?
No. What happens is we meet with Terry, and then she goes through her budget and tells us what she needs, and if we need to cut money, we might go back and look at her budget. We pretty much try to do flat funding or flat budgeting each year, zero-based budgeting, but she does lower her numbers. The numbers have been decreasing in a lot of the areas for special ed. And they have the IDEA piece too. I think all of you should have received an email maybe around 3:30 today. Terry sent something out responding to a question that was asked last week.
Any other questions or comments?
Oh, yes, we did get the email, but it didn't answer the question.
I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the following name changes to the authorized signers on VHS student activity account. And this. Oh, no, I read this one. I apologize. I thought I was reading the same thing. Approval to accept the following funding for the High School chemistry teacher grant for Vineland High School. The first one was to accept approval to apply, and the second one is to accept the funding. I apologize for skipping that.
Any questions on that?
Discussion, recommend discussion of the following name changes for the Vineland High School activity account, to remove Dr. McCann and replace with Suzette DeMarchi, Helen Haley, Deborah Bishop, Mercy Kincaid.
Questions or comments? None?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the tuition contract between the Vineland Board of Ed and Atlantic County Vocational School Board for the 18-19 school year in the amount of $8,125.
Questions or comments? Seeing none?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the settlement agreement and the general release in the amount of $10,000 in accordance with the terms of the settlement on file with the Vineland Board of Education.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding a settlement agreement and the general release in the amount of $19,500 in accordance with the terms of a settlement agreement on file with the Vineland Board of Education.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the sale of vehicle which is on file with the board secretary to be auctioned on Gov Deals.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding a deduct change order number 1 from Capri Construction for the Vineland High South Girls Locker Room to lower masonry from deck height at all walls in the credit amount of $7,424.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the revised award of the following bid. Vineland Board of Ed Transportation Routes Record and Award Bid, Shepherd Bus Services, in the amount of $1,922,080.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the following Cumberland County Regional Cooperative Transportation Initiatives, the extended school year addendum, the regular school year addendum, and bid number 3 for pupil transportation.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of finance items 4.1 through 4.11.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Haley?
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes? Yes. Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
Mr. Medio?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich?
I'm going to go with no on 4.6 settlement, no on 4.7 settlement, yes to everything else.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mr. Bordley?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's the end of my recommendation.
We had an item proposed for review and discussion or adoption by a board member. This was previously brought up. Ms. Spinelli wanted discussion and a vote possibly on a pilot program for landscaping an individual school. Do we have any discussion on that? Unfortunately, she didn't provide me with much else.
What does it entail? Is it using students or,
I think that's open for interpretation from the very limited conversation I had with her.
I'm all for it, but where are they going to come from? Each school or
That's what would be open for
that's why
discussion.
we're talking about it?
I can't hear anything that's being said, Jeff. I heard Chris's question. What's the answer to Chris's question?
It's
What
open
this
for
entails?
discussion. There's no what it entails. It's open for discussion. She gave me a very limited thought process on that. She was going to discuss it here. I'm sure something came up.
Can we table it until she's here?
Can we put this off until the next meeting when she's here and she can flesh it out a little bit for us?
Okay, we will move that to the next board meeting.
Yep. Next week, sounds good.
At this time is an opportunity for the public to address the board. Reminder again, you're limited to 5 minutes per person. I will let you know when you're about a minute left. Anyone wish to come to the microphone, may. Just please state your name.
Quajon Kinsey.
Can you talk into the microphone, please, so everyone can hear you? Thank you.
I'm here to discuss the Winter Track and Field Program. Winter Track and Field Program has a great importance and means a lot to many other athletes like myself. To me, it's a building platform. When it started, it got me focused and got everything in check, because if not, I wouldn't be able to run. It also gives me something to do after school. This program brings in many kids from both buildings that all come together to share the same love. There are pre-requests required for spring track that you can only obtain during the Winter Track and Field. The Winter Track and Field Program has the same importance as any other sport in VHS. Taking this program away denies myself and other athletes to compete at the state level, which isn't allowed in spring. It may also stop the motivation from going in the program if the program was canceled. In conclusion, taking this program away will not only do a number on the coaches who love this sport, but the kids too. We are not just a team, we are a family, and we need this program to keep going. If there's no other way of funding, is there any possible way of using the surplus from Mr. Metro? Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Excuse me, 1 minute.
I couldn't hear anything.
Me either. But with the gentleman that just spoke, could you repeat your name for Mrs. Haley? She needs it for the minutes.
Quajon Kinsey.
Is it possible you could reread that if we can get the volume worked out? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You took the time to get here, so we should take the time to listen to it.
The Winter Track and Field Program has a great importance and means a lot to many other athletes like myself. To me, it's a building platform. When I started, it helped me get focused and get everything in check, because if not, I wouldn't be able to run. The program brings in many kids from both buildings that all come together to share the same love. There are pre-requests required for spring track that you can only obtain during winter track. The Winter Track and Field Program has the same importance as any other sport in VHS. Taking this program away denies myself and other athletes to compete at a state level, which is not allowed during spring. It may also stop the motivation going into the program if it was canceled. In conclusion, taking this program away will not only do a number on the coaches who love this sport, but the kids too. We are not just a team, we are a family, and we need this program to keep going. And if there is no other way of funding, is there any possibility of using the surplus from Mr. Metro? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Natalie Velez. Current senior at Vineland High School. I'm just gonna tell my little story of how I started track. Basically, I came into Vineland High School not knowing what I was gonna do. Just like any other student, I had nothing to look forward to. And then somebody told me about track. I started it, I tried it, and it worked out. We have a bunch of phenomenal athletes. We have state champions, sectional champions, meet of champions. I feel like I'm too loud. So going through the years, I have grown as an athlete from jumping probably like 5'8" to now jumping 5'6", which could set me to nationals for winter. Also, we have a shuttle hurdle team that is second in the state, and they will not get that opportunity again in spring. So yeah.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Robinson, and I have a daughter that graduated from Vineland this year as a senior. And going into high school, I made it loud and clear to her that she needed to participate in something, anything, because she wasn't going to waste her time in the streets or hanging with friends or any of the above. She chose to enter in cross-country following behind her best friend. From there, that led her to winter track, and then spring track, where she fell in love between the coaching staff and the sports and the events. Cheerleading, all the other things she tinkered around with, she didn't stay with, she stayed with track. And in order to get where she needed to go, which at that point, it then shifted from a sport to keep you out of the streets and to get you somewhere, and hopefully, if you find something you're talented enough at, get you to college. So she grasped track and she stuck and hung on to it. With that, both seasons are drastically needed. There's not enough time and enough resources, honestly, for the track athletes as a whole. There's not enough gym time for them to work out, so they're not getting the weight room training that they need. They don't even have enough available access it's giving to all the other sports. So track time and competing time is their only way to improve, because every other sport in the school gloms everything up. And she needed that to get where she was going. Her winter season was always basically preparation and training for spring, which is spring is where you put up the numbers, spring's where your college coaches come out and do everything. Well, if you're just starting at spring, you're not going to be prepared. The season to be over before you hit your peak. Long story short, the benefits and everything that it reaped for my daughter was she was scouted and looked at by many colleges with a lot of tryouts, injuries for not enough training and workout time from the gym. She's been plagued by injuries the last two seasons because of that, but she still was able to put up enough numbers to get scouted and receive scholarship money. She signed to a D2 school where she'll be running NCAA Division II track and field. And I just feel like that's her story, and that story can be repeated over and over again. Vineland has enough kids on the street. We don't need to turn 90 athletes to the street. And this was like, I told her to get into something. That's where she found her passion. That's where she chose to stay. And that was driven by cross country to go to winter track. So repeat her story without winter track. She goes from cross country to nothing, maybe back to spring track, where she has no success without the proper training, and the story doesn't play out the same. I feel like this program brings out a lot of kids, and it is catching enough of them to keep them there, and it can get a lot of them to college. She's a student that didn't even make it to a 3.0 GPA. This meeting's not about the counselors, but there's a lot of lack of support in certain things. She didn't get to a 3.0 GPA, but she still got over $13,000 out of a college in track money, which is very impressive with all that's on the table, which I don't need to put all her business out there now, but I just wanted to make sure I came down and said something, because too often I feel a certain way about things, but I just say I'm not going to get involved and I'm going to leave it alone. Well, I didn't feel this was one of them. Coach DeShields puts his whole heart in trying to get every student to be successful and go somewhere, and the program is definitely making athletes that can get somewhere and do something with themselves, and it builds, them to know how to act, how to commit to something. It's building a lot of stuff that's no longer built in these kids in any other places. Dedication, so many other things. My daughter, her first 2 years, I stayed on her butt to stay committed and not quit and do the right things and work on your grades or whatever. By junior year and senior year, I had to tell her to take it easy on herself, because she was worse than I was. So, because she just wanted to get somewhere and improve something and do something. And I feel like you're gonna cut that out and take that away from a lot of students. And there's a bunch of juniors here that I'll have to figure out how to come see them next year and still make it to North Jersey and wherever else in Javip to see my daughter run and everything else, because those juniors are doing phenomenal things. And you're gonna take their knees out from under them if you take away winter track. Thank you for your time.
How you doing? So my name is Jeremiah Atoki. Am I too loud? Okay. Jeremiah Atoki. So I recently graduated from Temple University. Got a full scholarship to play football. But one of the things that helped me do that was, while I was at Vineland, I actually became a 200-meter state champion. So when I hear that track is going to be taken away, I'm like, oh, hold on. I may need to say something, because it really helped me become a man, you know, that what I am now. So one of the things that was good was when Coach Shields was coaching us, he kind of told us, hey guys, you need at least a B to kind of run on track. I know for some of the times when I was like a sophomore, didn't really get a B, didn't get that 3.0 that I needed, but Coach Shields was like, all right, you don't get a 3.0, I'm not running it. That was kind of one thing he kind of enforced on me. It's not a coincidence that I graduated Temple with a 3.02 GPA, because some of the things that he instilled in me when I was in high school, I was able to take over when I was in track, or when I was in football. So one of the things, it's not really about track that I'm so worried about, it's some of the things that you learn in track. So some of the things that he kind of taught us was like, how you do anything is how you do everything. That's why you go 100% of the time, 100% of the time. Let me explain that. You don't take some things off, you don't take a meet off, you don't take a practice off. You go 100% of the time, 100%, all the time. Why? Because that's going to set you up for the next level. That's going to set you up for everything. So what does that mean? In jobs, always do what you're supposed to do. You know, always go 100%. Always do what you need to do. Another thing he told me was run your own race. Have that tunnel vision. Don't be looking around. If you see me my sophomore year, I was pretty fast, but I used to jog, I used to showboat, I used to laugh at people when I was beating them, but he would always tell me, run your race, be faster than you. Don't look at everyone else, because if you're competing with yourself, you're gonna make yourself better. But if I'm running against this dude from Shalleck and I'm not going as fast as I can, it just hurts me. Another thing he kind of helped me with was just about time management. Being early is on time for Coach Shields. If he says 6 o'clock and you come at 6 o'clock, you're late in his mind. If you come at 6:05, you might as well not even show up, because the buses is already leaving. There's one time he left me after, like, they went to a track meet and I couldn't go. And that was after I won the state championship. So just some of the things that he kind of instilled in us, just as athletes, it's something that you can't get. Oh yeah, there's other sports that you can do, but I know that track teaches you a lot of things. Track teaches you to, hey, keep going no matter what. It's kind of like a self-motivation type of thing. Like, hey, even if you're not the fastest guy, you can work up to be. My story is kind of incredible, because my freshman year when I ran track, I ran like a 13 in the 100, a 26 in the 200, like a 106 in the 400. Then my senior times, or some of my best times, was an 11 flat in the 100, a 22.02 in the 200, and a 49.5 in the 400. So that was just some of the goals, and that was some of the things that kind of like helped me just become the person I am. So I would just like, you know, also, I gotta mention my younger brother, I never really seen him depressed. And then he was kind of depressed about, oh man, I can't run winter track. Like, oh man, I don't really know what to tell you, because that's kind of what made me a person who I am. So for me, I bet you I'll never be late to anything. I'm never late to anything. Why? Because of track. I go 100% of the time in everything I do, because how I do anything is how I do everything. Why? Because of track. So track in itself is a great sport, but some of the things and some of the lessons you learn, and so, like, teaches you teamwork. I can go on and on and on. I know I have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna keep going until you guys tell me 5 minutes. But for me, track, it teaches you teamwork. So think about any job you have. Think about this meeting. Everyone has to work together. Oh, I can tell you guys, the day I won the state championship was also the day I lost a state championship. We were running the 4x1 in Egg Harbor. It was my job, I was running, and I dropped the baton. I lost the team, and no one else did anything. It was my fault. But what Coach Shields told me was, hey, next thing, don't let that last thing mess you up for what you're going to be kind of going, you know what I'm saying, for your next event. So literally, that 4x1 race that I ran, I lost the event. But the next race, 30 minutes after, I won the state championship. So if anything, you know, I got to shout Coach Shields out. We may need to give him a raise because he is good. But, all right.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is William Ramos, and like track, what it means, it's like means everything to me. It's where I can go to be free and all my problems go away. And also it's my way of getting out and making it to college and being able to like make my goals and my dreams come true. Also, if you come the winter
Sorry, can you just talk into the microphone? You got a low voice.
Also, if you cut the winter track program, you'll cut our like us being able to compete in meets for spring, because we have to qualify in winter to be able to run during spring for a lot of events, which will have a lot of coaches view us and see us and be able to scout us for their schools. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Johnny Williams. I'm the class of '77. I'm here to represent my grandkids. I have a grandson now who runs at Rider University on a partial scholarship. And my granddaughter came over the house the other day. She said, Pop, they're limiting the indoor track. What I'm gonna do? I said, well, if it comes to the point, we would have to move you somewhere else, because in my family, that's what we know for track. And by cutting the winter track, it's like cutting half the football field. If you put a field out there, you don't play on the half of the field, you play on the whole field. And I have 3 other kids that are coming up in the next 2 years to run track at Vineland. And I don't want to interrupt them from that. I'm from Vineland. I want my kids ran for Vineland, and my grandkids want to run for Vineland. So that's in our DNA. And that's all I have to say.
My name is Christopher Ferrer. You guys are the school board, right? You represent the Vineland Public Schools. You guys, I got a call from a good friend. You guys want to eliminate track. But what about the people who ran track that made a legacy for the Vineland High School? Darren Ford put numbers up, got drafted to the Giants in the baseball team, won a World Series, made a legacy for the schools that you guys represent. Now you want to take it from these kids that are the new upcomings that can make a legacy for Vineland High School. What about the Schaefer brothers that won championships over and over and over because of Coach DeShields? You're willing to take that away? The legacies that people in the past made. I graduated from Vineland High School. A lot of them can tell you, I might get fired from here because I'm a part-time janitor. I don't care, but I'm gonna keep it real. You guys represent the Vineland Public Schools. These kids, they work hard for their education, they work hard for their sports, just to get stripped. And then the people who made legacies here, it doesn't mean nothing to you guys. You guys are just worried about numbers. But I'm okay with that. But I just want y'all to know that there is people out there who do understand your pain and do care about it. If their numbers don't match up, what can they care about? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Felsberto Messiah. I'm here to speak on behalf of my son, Tamat Messiah. He runs track. He has done so since his freshman year. He has currently a 3.69 GPA. He already has received letters from several HBCUs and other colleges that are looking to scout him for a track scholarship. By cutting winter track, you eliminate half his opportunity and his exposure of getting a scholarship. I have watched my son grow into the young man that he has become. He's very, very dedicated to track. I've watched him practice on weekend in his own time. He's an inspiration to me and to his three younger brothers coming up. I implore you, please do not cut winter track. Thank you.
My name's Andrea Ruiz, and today you've heard a lot of success stories, but for me, it wasn't really the same. Right now, I'm in Cumberland, and I graduated from Vineland in 2017. For me, track was mostly like an outlet, and I feel like if you guys do cut the track program, you're taking that away from a lot of people, from a lot of kids, because I'm regular. I'm not someone who gets a lot of support from counselors or social workers in school because I do get good grades and I'm just a normal girl. So the coaches were always there when you need them the most, and it's not only about the running aspect, it's about being able to go there and get away from everything. It was like they were always on top of you to keep your grades up, and if you had stuff going on at home, they were there for you. And even the team, it becomes a family. They bring you up no matter what's going on. And it's just something that the staff doesn't always necessarily do. Like as far as your teachers, your counselors are not always there for you, but your team, you know that they're always going to be there for you no matter what. And taking the program away, it's like that's the only program that doesn't do cuts for winter. Basketball does cuts, cheerleading does cuts, every sport basically does cuts except for winter track, so you're always welcome there. Everybody's welcome into that sport, and I feel like it's something that's very necessary to keep at Vineland High School, because a lot of kids do need that extra support, that extra help to keep them going, because things aren't, even though you seem regular or normal and like everything's okay, you're not always regular and normal, and you do need that extra help and that extra support. So I feel like the program shouldn't be cut. That's all.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emerson Hanna, his younger brother. He said I was depressed whenever he said winter track was. He said I was depressed when I heard the winter track was going to be canceled. When I first heard it, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be canceled, because, who's going to cancel winter track and stuff like that, I always look forward to winter track. That's where my best moments have been at, on winter track, my funnest moments, and stuff like that. And, I was like, winter track ain't gonna be canceled. I mean, that's my sport right there. That's my time to shine. That's the training. That's when you can really train for the spring track, and that's when you can get faster. We started off as, in 9th grade, we had a group of seniors that are seniors now. We started off to where we weren't running that good or something like that, and then 10th grade we started running a little better. 11th grade we started running a little better, and now it's our year. We got like shuttle hurdles. They start winning gold watches. Other people start winning gold watches. And now, when I hear, we're going to cancel winter track, that's going to mess stuff up and stuff like that. So, basically, winter track for me, personally, I can get, I can get my training up, and especially, and it does get you, like my brother said, it does get you ready, like, for real life, not to quit. It's cold out there, and we practice outside most of the time, and, it can get you ready for life. So, it's all a life lesson, and plus, it's, well, I'm stuttering, like, my best moments, so. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Green. I ran cross country since I was 6 years old. After that, I did track with Mr. Boykin. After that, I ran that track for him before I went to high school level. I wasn't the fastest, and I wanted to improve myself. So if you take winter track away from me, away from us, we're not going to improve so we can go to college. I want to go to Rowan University. If you take winter track from me, from us, we can't go to any colleges or universities because our talent is diminishing in the winter and we can't get ready for the spring. My sister is the best shot putter, best sophomore shot putter. If you take winter track away from her, her talent's gonna diminish. I don't want her talent to diminish because you took winter track away from us. That's all I gotta say.
Hi, my name's Correa Stratton, and I've been doing track for most of my life, and winter track has always been how you gel a team and how you gel a relay and mold it into perfection, and there's not enough time to do that in spring track. With a relay or a team, it's a long process and a lot of hard work that goes into making success or making the students stand out or the athletes stand out where they need to stand out in their events and in relays and everything. And when you take winter track away, then you take everything. You take the whole process away take their whole process of what they have to be able to prosper in spring track. And that's basically it. Like, when you train, especially a relay, you're training them to succeed in spring because that's when everything happens. That's when the magic happens, I should say. And in the winter is when you form the team and when it becomes what it can be. And you can't do that in spring track. And that's all I have to say.
Good evening. I am Lynn Buckman, and I'm speaking on behalf of my daughter, Ayana Colvin. She's been running many years, and she was in Blackwood originally, and I brought her to Vineland High because that's where I graduated from, and we're very proud of Vineland High. And when I voted for you board members, I thought that y'all would work in the best interest of the children, but taking away winter track puts them at a disadvantage. My daughter, prior to track, was not interested in school. She wasn't motivated, but when she joined the track team, she started doing her work. She started wanting to, because she would always miss her bus and be late, but once she started running track and she had her coaches really motivating her, she began to do better in school. She started being on time. She started being motivated. She wants to go to college and run track, and this is going to take that from her because the whole winter track is her preparing for spring. When they run winter track, they're warming up for this spring. So if you take away winter, you take away their preparation time. They cannot go into the gym or the equipment room during the winter to prepare for spring. So if you take away winter, when they go to run for spring track, they're behind the other children. So you're setting them at a disadvantage, and there are scouts there during the spring that's going to draft them, and they're not going to be able to do so if they're running behind the other children. So that is definitely going to take them at a disadvantage. With all the crime that's going on in Cumberland County amongst the young kids, you would be taking away something that's motivating them to stay in school and stay off the streets and keep them out of the stuff that's going on around here. So you don't want children disappointed and unmotivated to be out on the streets this next school season. You know, we have to keep them motivated. We have to stick behind the children. There are so many other teams at Vineland High. Why track? Last year, they were number 2 in the state. Why track? That's my problem. There's no other teams being cut but them. And most of the minorities are on this team. And we need them to have track so we can keep them motivated. So we can, I'm first generation college graduate. I want my daughter to be right behind me. I have enough loans, so I really need these scholarships to help her out, okay? So that's all I gotta say.
My name's Anaya Burrows. My mom was the one who spoke before, Tiffany Robinson. Okay. So, if you take away track, winter track, I can't tell you how many times I used to be late to school. And me waking up, having to catch the bus every day, running to the bus stop just to make it on time so I wouldn't have 12 lates, just so I could run track. It meant so much to me. I didn't even care how I looked at that point. I was just showing up to school and getting the right grades that I had to get in order to run track. All these juniors and seniors that are sitting out here, coming out here next year, have big goals and have many, many, many personal bests, things that they're looking forward to just to going to winter track to prep for the spring season. How are they supposed to get there before the other athletes if they're going to be set so far behind? Another thing is, if you take this away, you're going to crush him. My coach. This means so, so, so much to him. Not even just that. You have new coaches coming out there and stuff like that, working around the schedules that we have the time in the building, if we have that, or the weight room, if we have that. I just don't see why you would want to cancel out winter track or like any other sports. That's all I have to say.
My name is Xavier Gonzalez, and this year it's my year to go into sophomore year. And this year so far, and being a freshman, doing winter and spring season, I've improved a lot, but still have way much time to achieve the goals that I eventually want to hit. The best distance runner this year, he was senior and he graduated, he told me that this year my times were the same or even better than the times that he's hit himself in his freshman year. And, I've had to build up my stamina, my dedication, my commitment from going from season to season. And also for upcoming freshmen as well, they're not going to be as dedicated and as committed into spring season if they don't have the opportunity to even get a kickstart. There's a lot of goals that I still have for myself that I won't be able to hit if I still don't have all the proper time that I need. I've only had 1 year down to this, and I've achieved a lot, but cutting this winter season, it's not going to be able to cut it for all the hard work that all of us, not just me, that all of us put on. All of us need all the time that we can in order for us to achieve what we really want to hit. So I feel that everybody needs their opportunity. Everyone needs their opportunity to be able to build up their commitment, like I said, to just be able to hit what they want to. We're not going to be able to do that if we don't have all the opportunities that we can, if they're taken away from us. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hey, how you guys doing? All right, so when I first heard about winter track getting cut, it was after my shift at Taco Bell. I was in the group chat, actually.
Wanye, can you talk into the microphone, please?
Sorry. So I was at Taco Bell, actually. Stop making me laugh. So I was getting up at Taco Bell, and I heard it taking away winter track. I'm like, nah, that can't be real. Like, track meant so much to me, you know? Like, it's not even like the fun aspect of it. It's like the lessons it teaches you, like, it serves you in life. Like, I remember Chief, like, some days I came to school, you know, sore from workouts, like, dang, I got to practice again today? Like, I don't know how I'm going to get through it. Walking to every class, sore from track, pushing myself. It teaches you a lot. During the workout, you're halfway through, you're like, dang, like, how am I going to finish this workout? Like, I don't know if I have it in me. Then coach says, you know, get on the line, but to run again. I'm like, oh, man. Long story short, I got through it. And now, like, at the end of the workout, you feel accomplished, like you feel great about yourself. And you can, like, take all these aspects in life, everything you learn from track, and you can actually use it in life, you know? You know, I played baseball, played football, played basketball. It's nothing like track. The stuff it teaches you, the stuff that man right there taught me, is nothing like it. And you guys can't take winter track away. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sonia Lee Spadillo, and I just want to speak about personal experience with winter track. 9th grade, I came to high school, and I did field hockey, but I knew I wanted to run. I just didn't know what I wanted to run until Madeline here, she told me to join winter track, and I wasn't going to. I was going to join cheerleading, actually, but something, I don't know, like something told me to do track. So I did track, and I loved it. So my sophomore year, obviously, I continued with it. But my sophomore year, actually, I got injured. And when I got injured, all I thought about was winter track because that's the sport that I loved. At first, like, I've done hockey for so many years, but then I joined winter track and spring track, and that's the sport that that's the sport that I fell in love with within literally a year, over a sport that I've done for 5 years. So when I got injured, I worried about winter track. I got back to winter track my sophomore year. Then my junior year, once again, I got injured. I cried again to my doctor because I wanted to do winter track. And somehow, I was able to do winter track. I made it just at the deadline, like being able to practice. I had to start off slow, but my coach was there to help me, and he made sure I didn't push myself, and he was just always there. I don't talk to guidance counselors, I don't really talk to teachers, but I have coaches who care, and he's one of the ones who really do care. So, hold on. So in June, when he told us that when the track might be canceled, I didn't know what to do, because now I'm going into my senior year, and all I think about is college, and that I want to do college. I want to do track in college, sorry. So knowing that this program could possibly be canceled and cut, I'm like kind of confused, because now I'm thinking, what can I do to make sure that I can still be prepared for spring track and make sure that I can make it to college and still do the sport that I really want to do. And I just really hope you guys consider what you're doing, because it doesn't just affect us, it affects many, many years, many students and many people, many athletes that are coming in the years. So, yeah.
Elliot D. Shields, winter track coach, as I'm quite sure you all know. First of all, let me just say that I'm very proud of these student athletes that came out tonight. Some of the speeches may have been not the most elegant, but again, it's just like we teach them out on the track, and if you want something, you go get it. Just some important points that they were bringing across again. I'm just going to reiterate again, just to talk about the importance of this. Stand up, stand up. Where's William? Stand up. These three gentlemen, again, as we said, they finished second in the state last year in the shuttle hurdle relay, and they that relay for the state championship is only offered in the winter time. It's not offered in the springtime. So it's a different distance from the outdoor distance that they run. And again, it's a collective unit that they run. Again, it's a relay, which they came from a long ways. I sent them a couple of clips the other night of where they start off their freshman year and how they are right now. They've come a long, long way. And I know they were looking very forward to this season, okay? We know nothing's never promised. I know that. Injuries happen, okay? People leave the schools. Some teams get better. But again, at least they would have that opportunity to see where they would be. Okay, and we're taking the opportunity away from them. They're seniors. All three of them are seniors. Madeline Velez, okay, champion again this year in the high jump. Okay, just some of the awards that were won out there in the winter and the springtime. She was South Jersey champion in the high jump, rowing relays champion in the high jump. Okay, the three men we just talked about, they won every relay this spring track season. Okay, all that had to do with their training again in winter track. The former athletes that we saw, yeah, all those medals, yeah. Mr. Carter over there, former graduate, great success in track and field. Okay, so again, we're not just fighting for these athletes today, we're fighting for, first of all, the legacy that was brought through this track and field program. Okay, and yes, we're fighting for these athletes today, but again, the future athletes, like Ms. Robinson said. So you got kids coming up here, and this program is so important, and I'm just trying to reiterate that. You know, and I just thank the kids that come out here and just fighting for themselves in this program, because I know it's hurting them. You know, coaching is it's a great thing. We know that. Man, you get on a personal level with these kids, it's like they're your own children. You see, and I don't have to tell you, I see Sonia Leach talking up here and the tears in her eyes, you know. I hear this stuff about, you know, my effect on them and stuff like that. I can just but cry. I said, to God be the glory, you know, that these kids are getting this, you know. It's not about me, it's not about them, it's about all of us, okay? And how we, you know, and how we deal with each other on a daily basis, how we help each other and stuff like that, okay? We talk about the classroom all the time. The classroom is also out there in sports. We learn more out there in sports than we actually do in the classroom. Real life stuff, incidents, getting along with people, we learn that out in sports, okay? And we have a group of kids here. Okay, in the wintertime, we have the largest population of any sport in the wintertime. It's proven right there. 93, 63, 73 kids per year. Okay, so again, why do we want to hurt these kids? I know you don't. I'm not saying that. I know you don't. Okay, but again, if these other schools in the county, in the conference, in South Jersey, and the state can have winter track programs. Why can't Vineland? That's my question. We tell these kids every day, don't you let nobody tell you what you can't do. You can do it. There's a way to it. You can do it. So why can't we do this right now? I know there's a way. I don't want to let these kids down. I really don't. I know you don't want to let these kids down. I just want us to fight. Let's do the best we possibly can for these youths here at Vineland High School, because they deserve a chance. They deserve their chance. Especially these seniors who are going to be cut short. They've come to the point right here. They're looking forward to senior, they're training, they're looking, and now it's gone. Never to have that opportunity again. It's not fair. It's not fair. So, like I said, stand up, sir.
Need to wrap it up, Mr. DeShields.
Cumberland County Champions 2018 this year. On the back of his shirt says, trust the process. Okay? In order for them to trust the process, they got to have an opportunity at the process. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ayana. Just wanted to say that taking this away from us is like a really, really big deal. Like, our faith is in y'all hands for us to grow and do bigger things. Track is not just oh, I'm gonna just do it, just to, you know, do something. Track is like, I don't even know, like that's a part of my life. Track, I've been running track probably since I could walk. It's just means so much to every single one of us. I know kids that wouldn't even come to school if it wasn't for track. Like, for real. Like, they just wouldn't care, wouldn't do anything. But since we have track, it's like they want to do something. Like, they want to be something. It's, I don't know how to explain to y'all. Like, it just means so much to us. If you take away one part of our seasons, it just makes no sense. My mom always taught me to set a foundation for stuff ahead. You can't go forward if you don't know where you're going. You have to step up to every situation. So winter track is a step to spring track. You can't have one without the other. Like, I don't know, just training every day, just going to school, just makes you stay focused, and oh, you want to get good grades, because I know if I can't run track, I'm just, you know, it's just not going to be the same. We're a family, we support each other, we have one of the best coaches, because I know no matter what, he's going to be there. If I need somebody to talk to, he's going to be there. He always tells us that school comes first, school comes first. You have to, like, I don't know. Y'all just not, I don't know if y'all don't care or not, but we care. This is our future. If you don't run track or something, maybe I couldn't get a scholarship. Maybe I could get one from academics, but I have a better chance if I run track. I don't know, I feel like y'all should just need to pay attention to a lot of stuff, like you just not looking at the bigger picture, you feel me? But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
So my name is Sarah Fist, and I'm going into my 10th grade year. And so I haven't really started out my track season as much as the other people here. And I haven't really gotten to a point where I know I can be one of the best people in the state. And I want to have the chance to get to a point where I can say that I was a state champion. My times aren't great, and without winter track, I wouldn't be able to have a chance of getting times that are much, much better than the ones I currently have. And I wasn't during regular school without sports. I didn't really go out and hang out with many people. And once I started winter track and spring track, I talked to a lot more people. I was more outgoing. And I can see it means a lot to me and a lot of other people. And I want to have a chance, just like the seniors who have graduated, to have senior year be one of my best years. And without that, I wouldn't have without winter track, I wouldn't have a chance to really shine my senior year and get a chance to have a scholarship.
I'm John Boykin, former track coach for this school, this district. I say to you, winter track is the pinnacle events where they come and they make the times and they become just all together. We have had people, athletes who have been outstanding nationally. Nationally, we've coached national champions in this district right here. We have done so much, and listen, if Vineland, Millville, Bridgeton, if those other parts of this county, Cumberland Regional, if they have the wherewithal to get and keep a track team in the winter, we should have one at least equal to every one of them. At least. I just, when I saw you talking about $25,000, that's all? That's all. And then you go turn around and tell the children to go and earn it, or go and collect it to keep. It's not fair. It's definitely not fair. Brother Elliot DeShields, he's been a leading person for more years than me, many more years than me. And he has been pushed around and so on. I don't know why. I don't know why you would pick a little event or little events and tear them up. Do without. I don't know it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Almost every one of these kids back here that you have seen today have been with me or somewhere, sometime in the last 10 years. Almost every one of them. How many kids have I turned? Stand, kids. Yes. How many have I trained? How have I worked with? You see what I'm talking about? They need this. And they need people like Elliot, like all the other persons are here. And guess what? It is not money. It is not money. You $25,000. How about that?
How you doing? My name is Tamama Masaya. I started running track when I was a freshman. I didn't do winter, but I started off in spring, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just trying different sports out. So I didn't really have much friends. I was just doing long jump, and Coach DeShields and Coach Sereno, they kept me motivated, and I kept wanting to come back. So then I decided to come over in the wintertime, and that's when I fell in love with track. Like I wanted to stick with track and keep going and continue into college with track. So I first started hurdling that winter year, and as I progressed into spring, I started to get more medals, and my junior year, wintertime, my shuttle hurdle team, we became second in the state, and we qualified for nationals. And we also qualified in spring. We qualified 2 times, but spring doesn't have states at all. It just goes from sectionals to nationals. So winter has way more opportunities than the springtime, and it prepares you for spring, winter. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. Thank you.
I know I already read, but my friend Araya Baldwin, she wasn't able to make it, but she still wanted me to speak on her behalf. I apologize I cannot make it tonight, but I'm still supporting the winter track program from afar. This program helps students meet other diverse and talented people from different cities and counties. It gives kids that are struggling at home to reach out to other kids and coaches for help, to do something every day that they love every day to get their mind off of what's going on behind closed doors. Kids that aren't completely successful in academics have a second chance by receiving scholarships in sports. Every program works hard every year towards what we have now. And if it wasn't for winter track, we wouldn't be as successful in spring season. Vineland High School's winter track program gives us opportunities that we might not ever have again. And if you want to take that away, then you might just be taking away someone else's dream, career, dedication, and escape. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Latoya Holland. I'm here for my son, Quajon Kinsey. Okay, so to you guys, as I was sitting here listening, I was writing notes because I was nervous. I didn't want to say anything. But as you can see, everybody's speaking from their heart, and it's about a passion that they have acquired for track and their future. So what I noted was basically, why not Vineland? Why Vineland? Why can't we take pride in our kids in all the areas like the sports? Why take away their opportunity for a chance for the future, for scholarships? And like the gentleman just spoke, you know, you don't know what goes on in some of the homes of the kids. So having a sport, even something small as winter track, it makes a big difference in their life. Now, speaking for my son personally, he has tried everything but golf. This boy, I couldn't get him in nothing. He's been doing baseball since he was 3 or 4. So he really like, you know, I don't know if he's a mama's boy, but you know, anything, if he didn't want it, I wouldn't make him do it. So like the other parent said, you have to do something. You're not gonna run around in these streets. We're losing our kids, we losing our community because of things happening. But when you take away, because of the crime and all kinds of crazy stuff, but when you take away stuff like the programs that's in school, winter track, and all the other little, whether it's you know, the little, what they get into, the little clubs and whatnot, and sports clubs and activities. When you take away those things, you take away the possibility for them to learn, for them to grow as an adult. We're raising adults now. So this is our future. These kids are our future. These activities and track in particular, it builds them, it trains them up for the next level. For my son, he had little man boobs, you know, when he first like went into high school, and I wanted him to be like rough, you know, like he did football and everything, and he just, you know, so I wanted him to be like a rough boy. So when he started, because I told him, you can't go nowhere but to the gym, and you better be there, or because I called her and whatnot, because he tried to get involved with, you know, kids doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So he was on parole and I was the probation officer, and no cops were involved. But I'm like, you can't go nowhere unless it's to the YMCA, so, and not even to the store, because I don't know what you're doing. I have trust issues. So I'm like, you know, so finally he found something, and it was track. The boy started going and training. He started caring about what he was doing, working out, and he didn't have no man boobs after a while. He had a 6-pack, an 8-pack. I'm like, okay. So anyway, he's grown. I'm a single parent, you know, so the coaches and the teachers, you know, we rely on the school system as, you know, to help us with raising our kids. I know I'm going all off track, but it takes a community, it takes a village to raise these kids. And we're not, I mean, I know I'm by myself, but I know I'm not by myself, because we need you guys. I voted for people that I don't even know. A lot of people I just voted for because the name looked good, but I'm here because I know that, you know, it matters to them, and it matters really to my son. This boy, like, I'm on his heels. Like, he has a, 3.5 GPA. He was cum laude a couple years ago. Now he's summa cum laude. It matters. It matters a lot, because you don't want to take away the opportunity and the chances that you can give these kids. So, like, his grades is good, but I don't got the money for college. So track gives him the opportunity. So my whole thing, I don't want to even miss out on what I wrote, but, you know, the motivation, it builds character, strength. Everybody, you know, as you can see, we speaking from our hearts, it's a passion. You know, track has, you know, he's driven now. I mean, he's trained to go now. You can't stop him. That's why we're here, you know, because they really are passionate about their future. And so we just need to, we're trying to express that to y'all. I want y'all to feel our passion. I know we talked, a number of us spoken and whatnot, but that's because it matters to us. And I know somewhere along the lines y'all can find, like Mr. Boykin said, 25,000, we could work some numbers out. You know, whether it's fundraising and whatnot or whatever, we can do some things, you know. So, and I also noticed when you go to other towns and whatnot, there you have nice fields. I'm like, don't drop no trash out here. Not even put no gum on the floor. But Rancocas Valley, Deptford, Woodbury, they have really nice track fields, and they take pride in their teams. Why can't we take pride in our teams? Not just football and baseball. Why can't we take pride in track, winter and spring? You know, because like they said, and like we already know, it builds. It builds, you're training the kids, you're training them up. You don't just become champions just by, okay, going when it's scheduled. You become a champion when you practice and you train beside when the coach says. You practice on your off day. You become the best when you studying when somebody tells you not to study. You're doing it on your own. That's how you become the best of who you're gonna be. But my thing is this, for us as the parents and whatnot, and the people, the community, the politicians and all that, listen, don't take away their opportunity. Don't take away their chances. My final statement is great value in the small things. It's the little things that count. And even though you might think, oh, winter track, yeah, knock it off, it's nothing, they ain't gonna worry about it. It matters a lot to these kids. And like what is that, the shuttle hurdle? They went to they got watches and gold watches. I ain't buy it. They gave it to them. The boys won. They've been winning. They've been meeting goals, exceeding their expectations. So like it said in one of the school, what was it? Online school. I'm about to leave, y'all. Look, the online school. They said this: talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. You gonna take the opportunity from us? Like, come on. South Jersey, North Jersey, they do what they do for their kids. They make sure they have the activities, the sports are available so they can succeed. Don't take away our opportunity. That's all I'm asking. Give the kids in our community a chance, because enough is being taken already. And we got to believe in God first for all this to happen. So I believe we prayed on it, and we believe that y'all going to make arrangements so we can have winter track. And we're going to stand on that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julia Higgs. I'm currently going into my sophomore year. I joined winter track my 9th grade year, and this is my first program team that I've been a part of. I didn't really get out much. I didn't open up to people, but these are my family, and it means a lot to us. You know, I joined track to become better than the people that I was growing up around and raised by. It just like really means a lot to us. It gives people a chance to be seen, and you know, it gives them a chance to be seen and show what they can do and what they're capable of, and showing them that it's possible. Sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry. It just like gives people a chance, and it helps them be seen, and people with low self-esteem, it helps them get out, make new friends. It's just like I leveled up, and I felt important when I was part of the team. It feels good for someone to pat you on your back and, you know, be proud of your hard work, and for somebody to see potential in you and see what you can do and what you're capable of. It's just like a really good program. It keeps all of us together. We're a big family. We don't really call each other friends. And this program just means a lot to us.
I know I just talked, but I just wanted to say that, how much money did you spend on a football field? $1 million. Like $1 million? So you guys can take $1 million out for the football players or whatever, no doubt in them or nothing like that, but they just became good, and we've been good, so I'm just confused on like everything. It's like a couple $1,000, and y'all just spent like $1 million on a football field. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's not fair to us, that's not fair to the whole everybody. It's not just, there's more important things. Like, it's $1 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And y'all gonna spend it on a football field, but all we ask is for 25 or however much $1,000 we need, and you can't even give us that? Thank you.
Mr. Borley, I'm going to call for a point of order on these
Okay,
comments.
so I know everybody wants to go home, but I always forget stuff with my medical conditions these days, so hopefully this is the final thought. The final thought, hopefully, and everybody can go home because I want to go home too, but just something that I totally forgot to mention is Vineland has rec for every single sport you can think of. There is rec. Where do you find rec? Track and field. There is a little bit of a summer running club, but there is no rec for track and field. So you've heard, you know, a lot of stories, you know, they're up and down and great, whatever, but to start, these kids are coming out here and they're doing public speaking. That's something that that's priceless, because when they hit the real world, they won't know what it's like to be able to do most of them public speaking without events like today. But anyhow, to get to the point, there's rec for baseball, softball, basketball, everything, POW. They do all these different things, right? How much track and field do you get? You get a summer running club that is more geared toward cross country, There's no rec for track and field. So all the success that you've heard from different athletes, there's athletes in the past. My daughter's first cousin from her dad's side is still on the wall for track and field, holding the records since 1999. She did everything she could to break them. She didn't make it. But anyhow, the point is, these kids are getting this amount of success with most of the time 4 years to do it, as opposed to how much success is Vineland's kids getting out of football players and baseball players that have done it since they were 5 years old. I have a son who played soccer from the time he was 5 years old, star athlete the entire time, went into high school, went to prep for the first 2 years, and guess what? He wasn't all that he always thought he was, all coming up with all the support, all the, different clubs, going to the elite, whatever it's called. I can't think of it right now. My brain doesn't work right. Oh, the traveling teams and everything else. So I'm just saying track and field is shortchanged from the start to the finish. So like I said, there's no rec, there's no other outlet. Like they said, all other sports cut these kids out. There's no cuts. And if winter track is gone, there is no rec, there is no PAL, there is nowhere they can go to do this track and field without it being there at the high school. And like I said, they're successful in a short period of time, unlike a lot of the other sports. I'm not knocking the other sports. I wasted a lot of my own personal time playing a lot of sports that didn't take me anywhere. That's why I pushed my daughter so hard, because I can't go back and fix my regrets, you know what I mean? But at least I could do is try to make sure someone else doesn't build a new set of regrets. So all I'm saying is I know you guys have a hard job. I know budgets and numbers and trying to make everybody happy is not easy. I've done that in my work career and all, and trying to sprinkle a little everywhere, but hey, maybe we can not replace some furniture for a little while. Maybe we can leave a parking lot 1 year longer before we resurface it or reseal it or something. I'm just saying if we could dig deep and really find a way to find it and keep it for these kids, because they are being successful with the short amount of time they're already given. Taking any of that away, it's just going to make it that much more impossible. But thank you guys so much for your time tonight and listening to everybody and everyone. I know it's not an easy job, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on. We've heard already from several of you multiple times. I'm sorry. This decision was made not by this board, but by the athletic director, who unfortunately happens to be on vacation at the current time. I've been assured that once he comes back, Mrs. DeMarchi and Mr. Robbins will sit down and try to work this out. Budgets are what they are. The athletic department has a budget, and we want to make it work. Believe me, everyone up here, I'm sure you can look at us all. None of us want this program cut, but this was something that was decided by the athletic director. So this is something that the athletic director is going to address. Mr. Medio, you have something?
Yeah, can I have a 5-minute recess?
Any objections? All right, we'll be on a 5-minute recess. Back on the record. Do we have any committee reports for this evening? Mr. Medio.
Are we under old business now?
No, we're on committee reports. Seeing no committee reports, old business. Mr. Medio.
I'd like to make a motion to reinstate winter track and take the $25,000 out of surplus money until the administration finds another place to fund it.
I'm sorry. Mr. Medio, I'm sorry, we can't do a journal entry out of surplus. You can't do that out of the surplus. It would have to come out of a regular budget account.
Hang on, Helen. Mr. DeSanto, can you address?
Board meetings are governed by your bylaws. These bylaws set up a process, a structure, an order for the conduct of your meeting. I believe 0164 applies to board meetings. Absent an emergency or a truly time-sensitive matter, you should follow those bylaws when considering a matter to be voted on. That gives the administration the opportunity to find funding. That gives the administration the ability to suggest and identify a budget transfer. In this particular case, to get input from the athletic director. So I'm not saying that you can't vote, all right, because this is a published meeting on your annual notice. So you're not bound like you are in a special meeting to everything on the agenda. But I just caution you that absent an emergency, absent a time-sensitive matter, your bylaws give you this kind of order and structure, so matters are prepared, administration is prepared to give input, etc. So it's going to be up to the board tonight whether you really want to vote on this or defer it to your September 12 meeting. At that time, it could either be a recommendation from a board member, or if the superintendent wants to recommend it, it could be on her agenda. But that would be the procedure, because I mean, I don't know what the time reference is here. I don't know if there's a time-sensitive issue. So absent that, then you should follow your bylaws. But I just want to make it clear, Mr. Medio's motion could be made because it was on our annual meeting notice, so you're not limited as you are with a special meeting. It's just a better procedure to follow the bylaws.
Thank you. Mr. Sobrano?
Bob, could we make this motion as an expression of intent that the benefits of this program far outweigh the cost, and put it forward as a directive to the administration to find the funding somewhere?
I think the better procedure, John, would be in board member comments. Each one of you can express your feelings. And, you know, the superintendent and the board president will be able to then determine whether there's a consensus here. But, you know, it could be expressed later on in the meeting with board member comments. So you will have an opportunity to speak on this issue.
Well, that was my comment.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second. Wait, we need a move.
Mr. Medio made a motion.
Well, I didn't hear what Mrs. Haley said before.
I said we can't do a journal entry to take money out of surplus. We would have to take it from we would have to do a budget transfer out of an existing budget account.
So we can't take it out of surplus.
No, what happens is with surplus, when we're working on a budget, we can apply surplus as budgeted fund balance to the next year, but until you spend your entire budget, you can't take money out of surplus itself. So it's just the beginning of our year, so the budget has been struck, but you can do transfers within the budget.
Right. Question to Dr. Gruccio. When is the deadline for winter track? I've been wanting to ask that all night long. Deadline?
I'm not sure the deadline, but I know that it's not. Can you address that? Do you know what the when the season starts? Excuse me? Thank you, December. So we do have some time. And it's just my humble opinion that the appropriate thing to do here is to have a discussion with the athletic director, the principal. I mean, it's not that anybody wants to get rid of winter track, but I think there's an appropriate way to go about it. And I think we're putting Helen in a really tough situation here with the budget. I just think there's a better way to go about this. And Mr. Robbins is not here. He's away on vacation. And I think he needs to be a part of the conversation.
Is there any more discussion? We have a second now. Seeing none. Roll call, Mrs. Haley.
All right, then I'll withdraw the motion.
Motion withdrawn. Anything else for old business? Anything for new business? Board member remarks. Mr. Fiocchi.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. If this is on the agenda next meeting, I will be voting yes to reinstate it. But, you know, our knowledge is this was removed by the athletic director, and originally we had no knowledge prior to Mr. Shields coming to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes. Mr. Ulrich.
Okay, I'm never one to hold my tongue or short for comments. Been on this board a long time, on and off anyway. I'm going to start with all the positive stuff first. You know, congratulate Mrs. Rivera on the VP job. The reason I asked the question is I really didn't know that we were adding a vice principal tonight. So it didn't reflect on you as the person. I didn't want you to get that idea that, oh my God, I'm voting against a principal at the high school, which I certainly would never do. It's just that I would have liked to have an opportunity to hear your background and you know, see what you brought to the district, and we didn't have that. At least I didn't have it because I don't personally know you. But you were recommended by superintendent and your peers in the interview committee, so congratulations. We got a younger staff there, I guess, you know, at the high school. It's going to be some you know, change, which is always a good thing. No one should be afraid of change. I also would like to thank and apologize to all the students up here, parents, because, you know, the truth of the matter is when you come up and we're speaking, we really couldn't hear a lot of what you were saying. I get the gist of it, you know, what you're saying, but the acoustics in here are very bad, and for just, you would think being there that we could hear you, and I'll be honest with you, I could not hear enough of everybody, but I got the gist of what you were saying. So, you know, I'd like to, you know, our country is made on discourse, and that is a respectful discourse of conversations. So thank you for each. There definitely was a lot of heart, you know, coming from there, but it would be no different than another group coming up, you know, choices. If you were going to cut a foreign language or whatever the case may be, trust me, that group will be here and they will let you know that it should be somebody else. But I think the bigger picture is that we are in difficult budgetary times. I'm not quite sure how the superintendent's going to address that, but she's going to give us a 2-year projection plan, hopefully over the next months, before we get into the next budgetary period. I know it doesn't sound like it's a lot, $25,000 in the scope of a large $200 million budget, but what a practical person that becomes involved in the finances of the board knows that about 80% of that is out of our control. It's for budgets and salaries, and so very little of it is really within our control to do that. So yes, every cent does count, and I hear what you're saying, but you know, choices are going to have to be made. And in this case, when this comes up for discussion in September, you know, I think there's enough, you know, stories there, enough kids that are affected that I certainly, if this appeared in front of me, would support it, restoring winter track. So we'll find out in September, I guess. But I'd like to thank each of you for coming up. On some of the real positive stuff that's going on, I went out and visited some of the schools. I was really concerned about Rossi School having a really large transition. We did close 2 elementary schools this year. Caused a lot of displacement with students being redistricted. So, you know, this year hasn't been a good year. And, you know, with you guys coming up, it also demonstrates that it hasn't been a good year. And there's a lot of tough decisions. And I'm only in this for, I don't have any kids in the district, any grandkids in the district. I really don't have a horse in this race except for I like to help kids. But I also have the taxpayer in mind. The schools look good. I'd like to thank Wayne Weaver's staff. I talked to Paul Fernaccio tonight. I spoke to Sylvia Moreno and Christina Craig over at AMSA and Carmi here over at Rossi. You know, all the paid staff was engaged. The current unpaid staff who long ago used their 6 hours of movement time are still engaged in the classrooms. They don't have to be, but they were engaged and they're helping out maintenance and they're making their classrooms presentable, because I think what a lot of people don't understand is, you know, it's easier to go into a high school or a middle school, and you know, elementary schools are quite a different story, and there's a lot of work that goes on by our certified staff that frankly they're not compensated for, that people expect that they're just going to do. And I guess the reason they're in teaching is because they've accepted that. So there's a lot of good work. Paul, thank you guys for me. I was really impressed of what's happening so far. And I'd like to wish all of our staff and students a good school year. You know, hopefully everything works out. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ulrich. Mr. Media?
Yes, thank you. Today I went to the school on Lincoln Avenue, and the parking lot was packed. So it seems there's an awful lot of enthusiasm out in the community. I think they had a 6th grade open house, and I was especially impressed by the natural landscaping that we have out there. And I'm curious if that's going to stay or not. It was interesting, to say the least. So the next time we have a meeting, school will be open. I hope everybody has a safe opening. I hope we have a good opening. And I hope there aren't too many problems to be worked out. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sobrano?
Congratulations to Ms. Rivera. Looking forward to great things from you at the high school. I also want to say how impressed I was with the students and the adults who came here to speak on this issue. Your passion and your commitment to this are very important. I'm not the kind of person that's moved by public comment unless I happen to have some degree of agreement with it. And as I said a little bit ago, the benefits of this program, I believe, far outweigh the money. And we throw around some pretty big numbers up here, and we're not talking about 250,000 or even $2.5 million or 25 million. We're talking about 25,000. And I'm hopeful that there will be a way that between now and the beginning of the season that we're going to be able to find this money. On an unrelated note, and what Mr. Medio said about the new school on Lincoln Avenue, I've had a couple of parents reach out to me and talk about safety and about students that would be walking there, and Dr. Gruccio is kind enough to reply to me that we are working on that problem in regard to walkways and access to the front of the building, and also some conversations with some other folks in regard to making a safe walking area between the development to the south of the new school and the actual school property. So I'm hopeful that that will all happen. We only have a few weeks left of the summer wanes, and I'm looking forward to a great opening to school again. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jennings?
Yes, I'd like to let everyone know that I'm fairly confident that you have enough votes to carry the winter track if we can find the money. I'm fairly confident that we're going to find the money. So just be at peace and relax tonight, and don't be too upset. You guys did a great job, came out, helped us understand some things. All of us can watch this. You can watch it live on the YouTube, and we can watch it later, so we can listen to all your comments. Even though we couldn't hear you tonight, you know, we'll be able to do it sometime in the near future. A half hour of our time probably isn't going to kill us. So I appreciate everyone coming out, and I appreciate more that you stayed till the end of the meeting. That means a lot to us. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Costa.
I just want to say how very impressed I am with all the students. I know it's a little nerve-wracking coming out in public and speaking from the heart, and I do so much appreciate everything that all of you have said, and it's really heartwarming to see how important obviously this is to you. And I can assure you that the board as well as central administration will do whatever they can, if there's any way possible, any means, to be able to restore the funding so that you can avail yourself to winter track. We will do it. But hopefully, but we do need to give the administration the opportunity to be able to discuss it and see what they can do. Okay, but I trust them, and I am hopeful that we can restore it. I just want to, again, thank everyone, central administration. I know the teachers are gearing up for the next school year. Mrs. Ferreira, congratulations. I'm very excited for you, and I really look forward to seeing you as well as everyone else over at Vineland High School. So good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Gruccio?
First of all, I'd like to just congratulate Ms. Rivera again. I wish you the very best. And as I think everybody knows, this year has been, summer particularly, has been a tremendous amount of work because of the redistricting that was done. Maintenance has gone above and beyond. Transportation is working tirelessly. And our teachers have given so many hours of their time that they're not getting paid for to make sure that their rooms are ready, that the school looks great. And I just can't thank everybody enough because it's been a team effort. And every single department has worked hard so that when those doors open in September, our children will have a welcoming place to walk into. So I just can't thank you enough to everybody in each department for all you've done to help us get through this large transition and this redistricting process. I would like to wish everybody a very successful and productive school year. I hope it's a great year for everyone. And again, to all of the students and parents who came out this evening, I know it takes courage to get up here and speak, so we thank you for that. And I just hope you understand that we can't magically just snap our fingers and come up with things without discussion. And I think it's only right that we wait till the athletic director is available and the principal of the high school, and we will continue to work on this and do everything we can to try to make it work. So thank you for taking the time to be here tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful school year.
Thank you. In closing, Ms. Rivera, it's a well-deserved promotion for you, and I look forward to the greatness that you'll bring to our district as well. For the track students, I understand where you're coming from. Sports was my outlet too. Sports was the reason I came to school every day. I don't think that there's one person up here that's not going to fight to keep this program going. As Mr. Fiocchi said, we were just as stunned as you were when we were told that it was cut. Again, that's a decision the athletic director proposed for the budget reasons, and obviously it's, to you guys, it's not the right one, and you've come out in full force to support yourselves in keeping this program. And in turn, we're going to work with the administration to try to make this work. I'm confident that it will work. But again, like Dr. Gruccio said, we need to have that discussion with the athletic director and help him find where it's going to work. So have faith in us and the district, and we're going to do everything we can to keep this going for you. In closing, just I wish everyone a very safe school year, and the best of luck to all of you. Thank you. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.